next team is the team from Silicon Valley. It's a Zypline.
Well, hi, everybody. Yeah, we're kind of coming from a different angle here. We had done a video just for public consumption, but real fast, Zypline is it's a platform and an application. What we allow people to do is create content, push it online, and their mobile phone number becomes the locator or URL. So we basically have a patent issued on these things. And what we're aiming at is these, what's called the bottom billions or the digital divide or the bottom of the triangle, things like this. People who are working every day and provide a service but are not online. So this particular product now enables those people to get online. Everyone assumes that people in the world or in business are all online in some fashion, but it's not the case. In many countries, there's 100 million or more people who work every day and don't have a website or an online presence. In the US, of 28 million sole proprietors that file tax returns, only half of them, 16 million, had websites. And the reason is it's kind of awkward, it's cumbersome, costs money, so people shy away from it and go about their business. Here's a use case that I like very much, which shows how a sole proprietor, home business, small business contractor can put an ad in the paper. Typically, this market segment is a direct marketing segment. Flyers, business cards, newsletters, handouts, and classified ads, etc. When you're looking at the classified ad and you're interested in piano lessons for like your children, there'll be 5 or 6 or maybe 10 ads, but they'll just have 3 lines and a phone number, which in today's market is very difficult. Everyone immediately wants to get online and learn about this business. So what our process does, it allows them to grab that phone number, put it on one of our portals or use a URL syntax and get to see 1-page or 2-page description of a business or a service, which then helps the consumer, because now the consumer can have several choices. They can look at 4 or 5 different options, make a much more informed decision, as opposed to trying to place a call and getting voicemail. And you know what happens when you get voicemail, you look at somebody else. It also helps the product or service provider because they can now change their voicemail message on their phone. And instead of saying, have a nice day, please leave me a message, they can suggest use that same phone number you just called and put it on Zypline, and you'll see maybe an answer to your question. So that's kind of what the product does. We're in the market now, and we don't believe that we can handle this market directly B2C. So we're going to have a layer of what we call agents and partners. And what an agent does is, in order to be an agent, you have to be in the small business market and providing a service. So you have to have a flow of customers. So these are print shops, copy shops, graphic studios, photographers, handicraft shops, and places like this where there's a flow of customers buying other services for their small business. After a transaction, an agent can say, I can put this flyer we just created online for you for a fee. It's probably going to be nominal, $10, $20. It's a one-time charge. So at that point of sale or point of checkout, they will be able to upsell them, get a new source of revenue. Because we're a SaaS product, there'll be no investment. So right now we are actually looking in the India market, and we presented to the Times of India, which is a very large newspaper chain. And they have a couple 100,000 agents around the country that are independents. And we are now going to those agents and trying to add our service as a value-added service for these different agents. So in summary, we're looking to do a rollout plan, which we think will take about 1 year, about $1.5 million. And what we want to do during that period is, I got too much on my screen here. We have upgrades we want to do to make it a more of a global commercial product. We need some additional executives. We have corporate marketing programs. We're going to launch those with a very aggressive business development program. And of course, we're going to establish a network of partners and agents. And in that year, we will start and reach profitable operations. We have revenue started already. And then before that 1 year is up, we're going to go for a larger round and expand the company. I guess that would be our A round. And we'll go after a very active private equity market. We've been looking at telcos for value-added structure, and we're always coming across private equity groups that are looking for big new products, particularly in the SMB markets. So that, I think, what's wrong?
Thank you, Ray.
How come you can't see me? I can't see anything.
Yes, okay, we can see you, Ray.
There you
No
go.
problem.
Yeah,
You can see me. Okay, good.
Yes, thank you, Ray. Thank you for the presentation. So let's see the judge.
Just one
score,
question.
Final score.
Can
Can you?
Ray, you didn't mention the team at all. You
Can
have
you?
it.
No, I did not.
Oh, you do not have a. Okay, let's show the score right now. So Dave, what's your final score?
So my score may sound crazy. It's a 7.
Okay.
8,
So Greg,
8,
8, and Gaiden.
Because he didn't mention the team, I have some difficulties, so 6.
Okay, great. Thank you, Gaiden. Thank you. So yeah, Gaiden, you continue your question, and Gaiden already mentioned his question. And Ray, you want to answer?
I didn't. Which question on the team?
Yeah.
You,
Do you have any slide about the team? Who is besides you?
Yeah, well, I could do that. We have a number of people worked on this. As I say, we have a patent. We have about 4 user-facing apps. But this was more for a public consumption fast presentation. But I can provide a team if that becomes an issue, as well as issues of demonstrations and what our investment structure is going to be.
Okay.
So you mean you don't have a team right now, right?
Well, we do have a team. Matter of fact, I think 2 or 3 of them are on this call right now.
Okay, thank you.
It's always good to have team slides, so we understand, because
Yeah. Yeah.
investors invest in people, so it would be very helpful. And about the technology or the solution that you have, so you showed a newspaper page, you selected one of the ads there, and you said we can send it as like, it looks like a website. How do you choose which ad to use, and how is it transferred to the potential audience?
Okay, I'm frustrated I can't see anybody, but if you look at this, first of all, with the ad in the newspaper, you're picking out a phone line, a phone number.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about this thing. Why is it work perfectly? You're actually looking at here. It says, I'm a piano teacher and I'm a great guy and I'm whatever. And here's my phone number, give me a call. So every one of these ads has a phone number. So the phone number is actually your online locator. And if you look here are some people using the product. Like for example, here is somebody, I don't know, take a small manufacturer. So he's doing it as a URL, and that'll open up that page, I hope, based on that phone number. There it goes. So here's a designer in India. She's got a 3-page, 4-page site that she built on a Word, made a PDF, and then that gets loaded. So if she has an ad in the paper, it'll be her phone number. And using her phone number in that URL context, she came right up. And what it does is once this pops up, all of these ads have a WhatsApp icon. And I think if you click on that, you can send a message right to that purveyor. So.
Understand. Okay.
So it sounds like the innovation that you've actually brought to the table is using the telephone number as essentially a URL. So what's your patent?
The patent, it's really a URI. It's really an identifier.
Sure.
Now, using it in this URL structure just makes it easier for these people to have websites.
Of
And
course.
obviously, as you realize, they could have their own domain and mask it and point it to this string, and
Too much
they're in
work.
business. Right.
It's too much
So-
work.
Good. And if you look here, this is an actual restaurant in. Let's see.
We can't see what you're looking at
How come?
because you
Yeah.
haven't shared that other screen,
Yeah, we're only seeing the,
Oh,
the
I'm
PowerPoint.
talking to myself. Boy,
Yes.
That's crazy. All right. Well,
So,
I tend to do that late at night. I have nobody else to talk to.
Okay.
All right. So you'll see these things. If you click on this, you'll get a restaurant. But if you look at this next line, it's the same phone number / dinner. Now that's actually another URL. And so that restaurant uploads their dinner menu. And instead of assigning it to their phone number, they assign it to their phone number and a suffix. And that suffix is dinner. So now this particular URL will give you the dinner menu. And if you click on this one, it'll give you the lunch menu. And if you're in business, you can use those suffixes as price list, product list, maps, discounts, etc. And there's really no limit to those suffixes, and they can be any alphanumeric or character string from any code set.
So what you didn't answer that I asked about was what's the topic and the focus of the patent?
Yeah, right. Well, the patent basically says, okay, so there is identified as a proprietary digital string that you get in a real world entity. So a real world entity would be a telephone assignment bureau, social security bureau, blah, blah, blah. So now you have a string that's essentially proprietary. So your mobile number, if you pay your bills, you can keep that number, and that's a proprietary string. So any string you get in the real world, the representation of that on the digital world is what our patent covers. So it's an overarching patent. And then descending from that is about 18 embodiments that produce these various different structures.
Ray, your time is up. Ray,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you, Ray. Your time
Okay,
is
thanks
up.
Yeah, thank you.
everybody.